Looking to share a bit of the national parks with someone in your life? Maybe that someone is you. Then check out our Gaze Shop, featuring designs inspired by the sights, monuments, and majesty of America's national parks.
New this month is an exciting handmade item, the Bighorn Tote. This hand-printed canvas tote bag honors the beauty and majesty of the bighorn sheep. Found in western North America, the range of habitat for bighorn sheep is from southern Canada to northern Mexico. These amazing animals embody rugged survival, as their mountain homes with small ledge space make them the acrobatic daredevils of the West. Act now, because this is a limited edition, hand-printed run of totes, and a portion of all sales of the Bighorn Tote go to the National Bighorn Sheep Center.
But that's not all. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our sticker collection, including our Gaze logo, our Hike Early and Hike Often design, and the iconic Going to the Sun Road design, all in sticker format.
Whether it's art for your wall or a sticker for your water bottle, you're sure to find something that sparks your love for the outdoors. Visit shop.gazeatthenationalparks.com to bring some of the national parks home with you. Today's episode of Gaze at the National Parks is sponsored by Truefire.com, the planet's largest and most comprehensive selection of online guitar lessons, according to Guitar Player magazine.
Truefire's interactive learning tools and massive library of over 50,000 video lessons help guitarists ignite their technical skills, harmonic knowledge, rhythm playing, and soloing. Over 2 million guitar players worldwide learn, practice, and play with Truefire. Using Truefire's desktop and mobile apps, guitarists work with multi-angle HD video lessons on any device, anytime, anywhere, and at their own pace. Truefire's style-specific learning paths guide guitarists every step of the way. Use the assessment tools to find your starting point, then follow the lesson recommendations and track your progress as you work through your personalized Truefire study plan.
And Truefire's educators are the best in the biz. From Grammy Award winners to world-renowned artists, Truefire students have access to an unparalleled faculty of over 300 top-notch blues, rock, jazz, country, and acoustic guitar educators. Guitar players can progress faster with private one-on-one instruction, group lessons, multi-track video jams, live streams, song lessons, premium tracks, and so much more. With thousands of 5-star reviews from amateur and pro players alike, you'll find yourself in good company with the world's most comprehensive guitar learning platform.
So grab your guitar and ignite your musicality. Visit Truefire.com and use code GAZE for your free 30-day all-access trial and 50% off your first purchase. That's Truefire.com/gaze. And that's Gaze, G-A-Z-E.
Hello and welcome to Gaze at the National Parks, the podcast. I'm Dusty.
And I'm Mike, and welcome to our Season 4 Summit.
If you're joining us for the first time, our Summit episodes succinctly summarize our season through 4 different lenses: visitorship, environment, history, and hiking trails.
Our Summit on Visitorship examines crowdedness, accessibility, location to civilization, and a whole manner of things you might be curious about when you're visiting one of these parks.
Our Summit episode on environment and wildlife explores the delicate ecosystems of these parks and the lands that surround them through the lens of their flora and fauna. And our History Summit examines the past and present issues going on in the park from many perspectives, but especially that of the indigenous people that originally called the stolen parkland their home.
This summit is all about the hiking trails in the national parks we visited this season: Yellowstone, Grand Teton, and Glacier National Parks. This season is unlike our last 3 in that we really took the time to focus on just 3 parks, mainly because these parks are gigantic, have a ton to see, do, and hike, and we spent a large portion of time in each of them.
And to help you out, the Hiking Trails Summits is sort of like the Cliff Notes version of our entire season.
Yeah, Cliff Notes. Did you
welcome to the stage, Cliff Notes?
Wow, obviously.
Yeah.
Mr. Drag King himself. Were you a user of Cliff Notes or Spark Notes, I guess is
I guess Spark Notes was the one that sort of came around. I certainly used them a few times.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think so. I want to say in my AP language arts class, my English class, it was like, oh man, Candide is sort of like a wild story. I just need this for backup.
I remember Our teacher assigned us to read like all of Once and Future King in like 3 days. And I was like, that's impossible.
Yeah,
I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I do remember when I was doing Graves of Wrath, which I did ultimately enjoy.
It sounded like
book.
You said Graves of Wrath.
Graves of Wrath. Grapes
which
of
is
Wrath.
not that far off.
Not that far off. I don't know. I had such trouble reading that book because
that's a hard one.
it was a tough book,
Yeah.
but I had the like Spark Notes and Pink Monkey. That was another website. Did you know about that website?
No, that sounds like it would be
loved
something else.
that. No, but we used to have study groups and somebody would always print the
Pink
different
Monkey
versions
notes?
of them.
Uh-huh.
So we would always have both. And then I could read like the stuff about each chapter and then I would go back and most of the time actually read the chapter after knowing what was coming.
Yeah.
Just because I could read it faster.
Yeah, it was digestible then.
Totally
It had already been
digestible.
chewed up for you.
It had already been chewed up.
You were being baby birded it.
Baby birded. I remember once I read almost all of Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce in one night in the library. And that was because they didn't have a SparkNotes version of it at the time. But I found somebody's own blog summary of each chapter. And so I would read the blog summary and then I would read the chapter. And I did that for all night long. And I loved that book. I'd read it again.
And that's what Lionel Richie wrote that song about.
Exactly.
You reading Portrait of an Artist in the library.
Night long. Yeah, that was me.
That's you. The inspiration point. While we may have investigated these trails over the course of the season, in this episode we'll be looking at them in a different perspective and also through the lens of comparison. Our favorite thing. Some things we're going to dig into include our favorite hikes, signage, trail markers, and difficulty levels, and sights to see and best payoff views. We'll also gush about some of the hikes that were on our agenda but didn't get to during our travels, and some bucket list trails and sites we would love to head back for.
Before we get started, we would like to acknowledge that while hiking in the land also called Yellowstone National Park, we were on the traditional and stolen lands of the Eastern Shoshone, Crow, Cheyenne, and many other indigenous peoples. While we were hiking in the area also called Grand Teton National Park, we were on the traditional and stolen land of the Eastern Shoshone Bannock, and Cheyenne people. And while we were hiking in the area also called Glacier National Park, we were on the traditional and stolen land of the Blackfeet and the Tenaya people.
So let's start by talking about the trails of Yellowstone National Park.
Okay, so the trails that we did in Yellowstone National Park, let's list them.
A lot of them were boardwalk.
A lot of them are boardwalk.
A lot of them were boardwalk trails.
That's true.
Including Artist Paint Pot Boardwalk,
The Norris Geyser Basin,
Mammoth Springs,
the Lost Lake Loop,
Trout Lake,
the Upper Geyser Basin, which is where you find Old Faithful,
the Fairy Falls Trail,
the Biscuit Basin Backcountry Trail.
Wait, lean into that south a little bit more.
The Biscuit Basin Backcountry
Thank
Trail.
You had it at the end, but you pulled back. The South Rim Trail, that's the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone.
And the Wapati Lake Trail.
So let's talk about some of our favorite hikes while in Yellowstone.
Okay, favorite hikes in Yellowstone. I've said this before. Norris Geyser Basin is one of my favorite spots ever. It's not a particularly difficult trail per se. It is a boardwalk that brings you around all these cool
Geothermal features.
And I love it so much.
Yeah.
My favorite trail in Yellowstone, other than that, would probably be maybe the South Rim Trail of Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, just because you get to see that thing. That's so cool.
Yeah, the payoffs there are, incredible.
What about your favorite hikes?
I do have to say, before everything went south, I really enjoyed the Fairy Falls Trail a lot, because I think you got to see so many cool things and you were across so many different sorts of terrain, and you got that really great payoff view of Grand Prismatic from above, which you won't get if you just go to the Grand Prismatic section. So there was a lot there. Of course, we did get lost, so that really put a damper on that trail in a lot of ways. But I also really enjoyed Mammoth Springs because it was just so weird. It was the strangest.
It was so weird. It was great.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I really liked that area too. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. There weren't a lot of, I have to say, like, maybe we just didn't get a chance to experience a lot of them, but there were more of experiential trails is what I'll say in Yellowstone, as opposed to like real strenuous like hikey trails.
Right.
Hiking
trails.
Because I do feel like a lot of it was boardwalk, or a lot of it was like, here's a spectacle, come see the spectacle, and then there's a boardwalk. That's what it felt like for me in Yellowstone. A lot of it was just seeing things.
I'm going to ask us this question.
Sure.
Least favorite.
Oh, I mean the Biscuit Bison Backcountry Trail.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was pain. And that was like...
It was pain, but I enjoyed the actual physical trail. I think my least favorite trail was the Lost Lake Loop. I know that it was like recommended, but I just felt like it was a ton of uphill to get up there. And then it was like walking around a pond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that it wasn't enjoyable.
Sure.
There were a lot of flies and a lot of mosquitoes.
You're thinking about Trout Lake. That's not Lost Lake.
Oh, where's Lost Lake? What's
Lost
that?
Lake was where we went for the petrified tree.
No. I loved that.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
I mean Trout Lake.
You meant Trout Lake.
Trout
I
Lake.
agree. Trout Lake is
one I don't know what to do again.
Yeah, it's small. You're not, you're really far out. You are very much so in that like northeast corner of the park. Because you're in Lamar Valley.
Through Lamar Valley or on the other side of it now.
So like if you're going to go out to Lamar and you want to do that, like you can for sure. But it felt unnecessary having done it. It was sort of like the last thing we did that day too. And then we had to drive all the way back to the western entrance to get back to the campsite. So it did feel a little like, oh, this is the last thing we wanted to do. Okay, well, I guess we chose chaos today. There were a lot of flies and it wasn't a really big pond.
Yeah.
We don't usually
we don't
crap on trails, but
no, and we're not. But I also feel like fair balance here, right? Like we're talking about things we love. Let's also talk about some things that we didn't love as much.
Yeah. How did you feel about signage and trail markers in general within the park?
In Yellowstone, I feel like it could have been a little better.
I agree. If you weren't on a boardwalk, the boardwalks
were great.
Yeah.
Obviously, the majority of people going to Yellowstone, getting out there, are doing boardwalks.
Right.
On the actual trail, I did feel like there were some
inconsistencies,
or in some cases too consistent. Like, why are all of our blazes the same color for different trails?
Yes.
I was like, that's why we got lost. We're traumatized because we got lost, so we're complaining about it. But I also didn't feel like the map was as clear as it could have been.
Yeah.
And to me, it felt pretty easy to get lost at the end of all of it. I was like, makes total sense why we did this.
Yeah.
When you're lost, for a long time, you don't know you're lost because you're like, oh, well, this thing must be what this is on the map.
Sure.
And then you just take it for what it is and you keep going. Mm-hmm. But no, I felt like there could have been clearer signage.
Yeah.
There could have also been different blaze colors.
Yeah.
What about you?
As far as like parks we've been to, this one is pretty low when it comes to trail markers. But again, a lot of the trails here are boardwalky, experientially hikes. It's very easy to stay on those. It's once you start to get to those hikes that take you beyond that, I do feel like, at least in the sections that we were able to experience, even when we did Lost Lake and Trout Lake, there weren't really markers. Remember, it took us a little bit of time to figure out where we needed to go to start Lost Lake, and you basically have to start behind the lodge. It's kind of a strange like starting point. And you're like, well, where do I actually walk up to get here?
I really enjoyed that loop. I really enjoyed that Lost Lake loop.
Yeah.
The beginning was a little tough because of those switchbacks.
We saw them baby deers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comparatively, it was not too bad. And I really liked that.
Yeah.
That was where we talked about Princess Bride.
Yeah.
You told me all about that movie.
Yeah. You told me about Richard III. What were the best payoffs for you, or the sites to see that you would definitely rush back to see again? I think I already know one of them.
Going to Lamar Valley and seeing all this buffalo was incredible. And I totally think that, Grand Prismatic Spring from above, absolutely yes.
Yeah.
Old Faithful, great. Definitely go see that. As far as views, I think my favorite view was Mammoth Hot Springs. Because it's so weird and it's so different and it's so big.
Yeah. I think that obviously all the big features are Head to Old Faithful. It's kind of just the most bizarre thing, and it's worth it. And if you're lucky enough, you might get to see it twice in the same time you're in the Upper Geyser Basin. I think the geyser basins themselves were truly just the most bizarre and cool, like smattering of geothermal features, like all in one area, which everything was so different there too. Like each of the geysers, it was like, well, this one's going to do this and this one's going to like have a laser light show.
And they all have their own personality.
They do. They all have a name. I mean, like they could all be drag queens in
all of them.
the Old Faithful's geyser show. So yeah, I do feel like the geyser basins were cool. I mean, North Geyser Basin is really, really neat. I do think the most incredible view for me was for sure the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone.
Oh, why am I totally forgetting that?
There's no way
that was the best payoff view too.
There's no way to like compare because it's just very strange because the color is so bizarre and it's just incredibly beautiful. I have to say that trail is great. You don't have to hike out further than, is it Artist's Point? I think Inspiration Point is the furthest part.
Yeah, it
right?
was the one that was like the biggest one,
right,
where there were a ton of people.
That's and there's a
really
parking lot there.
As far as you need to go.
Yeah, you don't need to go further on that trail because you're losing the canyon the further you go, and you can't see anything when you get to the end of it. No. So that's the thing where I would say you don't necessarily need to do that. But yeah, I do feel like that was a cool way to end our time in Yellowstone too. I feel like it was such a good payoff. What about things you'd want to go back that we didn't get a chance to get to, or things maybe you'd like to experience again in a different sort of way?
I'd love to see like the different sections that we didn't get to go to. Like we didn't get to go to West Thumb,
right, and
we didn't get to go. There's another intersection that we didn't get to really see over there on the other side. But for the most part, I feel like we saw most of everything. Intersecting road that went in between.
Like, which would have been connected
between Morris and Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, that road. I meant Madison, not Morris. Mm-hmm. But Norris and Canyon Village, there is a connecting road there. Right. And I would have loved to have driven through there just to see it.
Yeah. I think I would like to hike more around Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. It'd be nice to do the North Rim because I know that's more strenuous. We just didn't have the time for it.
Yeah.
That would be something to definitely get back for me to see and do a little bit more of there. And even seeing Canyon Village, we didn't really get a chance to like dip in there and see that. So
that would have been nice.
Mm-hmm. I do think from a historical perspective, it was cool to walk around the grounds in the Mammoth Hot Springs area where the fort was.
Yes.
And to see those houses, to kind of see the historical sort of structures that were there. We did end up driving to the North Gate and doing that too. So that was interesting to see.
Yeah. I'm glad we drove to the North Gate.
Yeah.
That was a fun view.
Yeah. Yeah. I do feel like we did a lot. I don't feel like I need to rush back there, but I do feel like there's also stuff we just didn't get a chance to scratch because it was, the park is gigantic. So,
and we were only there for two and a half days.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Grand Teton National Park.
Lovely.
Let's review what are the trails we did in Grand Teton National Park.
So we did less here because we were only here for 2 full days.
That's right.
But we did still get a lot in. Paintbrush Canyon.
String Lake Trail.
Jenny Lake Trail.
Inspiration Point Trail.
Bradley Lake Trail.
Taggart Lake Trail.
And Amphitheater Lake Trail.
We did a lot here.
We did.
It was also compact. It was 2 compact days.
And a lot of incline.
A lot of incline.
Right.
I was living in delusion, thinking it wouldn't be as much incline as it was.
A delusula incline.
Delusula incline. It's true. That's who I was.
You were delusula
on this day.
incline.
It was more that I didn't want to. I was in denial.
You were like, oh, well, we've done all the hard hiking now for the trip after we left Yellowstone. And I was like, we
have Grand Tetons,
I was
honey.
like, I don't even think I said anything to you. I'm like, I'm just going to let him figure that out for himself. Was like, no, it's going to be hard. And it was. What was your favorite hike here?
I think my favorite hike is a tie between, I really loved Paintbrush Canyon, and I also liked the 18 switchbacks. You know what I mean? Like, it was so tough. Yeah. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Here's the thing for me. It's like, I feel the same. I feel like the more fun hike and the hike that was a little easier was Paintbrush Canyon. And I really enjoyed it. but I feel like the better payoff at the top was Amphitheater Lake. I thought Amphitheater Lake was
amazing,
beautiful. And you had Surprise Lake there too. It was a surprise. Surprise, indeed. But I do feel like that was like, good Lord, like I am so ready to get back to just do more of those trails that head up. And I'd love to do that 20-mile loop now, knowing what Paintbrush is like and coming down Cascade. Because we heard that Cascade was beautiful too, but not as pretty as Paintbrush.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Least favorite.
I
know, we got a fair balance.
Yeah, I guess so. Somebody's rising Libra is showing here.
I think I'm going to say it. And I'm saying something controversial yet brave.
Opinion.
Controversial yet brave.
Unpopular opinion.
Inspiration point.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
I felt like it was a great trail. And for someone who wants to do something extremely short, it's great. We were looking to do things that were bigger, longer. At the end of it, you weren't that high up.
No.
It was like a mile up to the top of Inspiration Point and then a mile back. It just wasn't my favorite thing.
There was a waterfall, though.
There was. And I loved that, going over to the waterfall, which like I felt like nobody talked about. Nobody ever talks about.
I feel like the small lake trail, the trails around the lakes were sort of like, I know they were sort of the connector trails, but like I still found Inspiration Point to be, I still enjoyed it. I just felt like the payoff at the end was kind of like, oh, okay. You're not looking at the Tetons, you're looking at the flat valley. And it was like,
and the water.
And the lake. And I'm like, all right, I guess so. I found the views where you were actually climbing up into the Tetons a little bit more interesting because you got so much more to see. So yeah, I'm going to say like probably the lake trails, not Jenny Lake though, because that was beautiful to walk around that.
So fun.
Sans Bears. But I'd say probably Bradley and Taggart Lake, just because those were sort of like the arduous points to get around to then get to the 18th switchbacks. You know, it was like when we were coming back, it was like, this is the last thing I want to do. I just want to be at the car. And I just felt like it was like, I could take it or leave it. Yeah.
Okay. So best payoff views. I think I agree with you in that Amphitheater Lake was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun to get up there and just hang out there and just take it in. Like we sat there for like a half an hour and just took it in.
Yeah. I do feel like too, the payoff view going up this 18 switchbacks, the Amphitheater Lake Trail in general had payoff views the entire time because you did get to see so much. Granted, you were like seeing through tears because you were in so much pain.
Yeah.
But it was great. I also think coming down from Paintbrush, walking down towards Jenny Lake was really cool to like see the lakes from above and like where you were headed. And that sweep around the lake there was really great. Mm-hmm. I think those views will forever be kind of burned in my memory because they were really, really just spectacular.
What about signage?
You know, I don't feel like there was a ton of signage here, but the trails were very clear. I don't feel as though like there was any confusion while we were hiking or any like way that you could have gotten lost. I mean, obviously one can always get lost, but I do feel like even when we hit those specific junctures, like when we were going up to Paintbrush, or even when we were going from 18 to do 18 switchbacks, because remember you could go over, there was another canyon you could go to at one point. I'm not talking about Delta Lake.
Yeah.
Right before you turned up, there was another area you could go to. There was a sign there. There wasn't a sign for Delta Lake, but it's sort of like an off-trail-y kind of situation. But I do feel like at the important junctures, even when we were at the top of Paintbrush Canyon, Holly Lake there was a trail the trail that came down for you to be able to do Cascade. There was a sign there that pointed you. So I do feel like the signage was good.
I always felt like I knew where I was going in Grand Teton.
Yeah. But I do feel like that park is more of a hiking park than Yellowstone is a hiking park.
I agree. And also,
that's the sense I got.
I felt like at every junction in Grand Teton, there was a sign that said the name of the trail, it's headed this way for this long. And then it listed all of them.
Yeah. Where would you want to go back to?
I would definitely want to do the 20-mile loop.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to do some more stuff at the north end of the park.
Yeah, we didn't do really anything up there.
No. I would want to do like a really big epic trek. Like I'd like to go like around one of them entirely, which is what we could have done but didn't do because it would have been a 20-mile loop.
Yeah, there is.
And we would have not even done Inspiration Point had that been the case.
No. Signal Mountain was something that we didn't get a chance to go to that would have been nice because I do feel like the views there.
We talked about it.
Didn't
get to do it.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot to be able to potentially head back for. The offshoot was Garnet Canyon off of 18 Switchbacks. Yeah, that's what I couldn't remember. It's a park I'm like, sort of like, we definitely didn't have enough time here. We could definitely have hiked forever. There's so much to hike. I'm like itching to get back there for sure. Yellowstone, I'm like, I feel like we did a lot and I don't like necessarily need to rush back, but I do feel like Tetons is one.
No one has a business like yours. With all its strengths and challenges, to succeed, you need a hiring partner that adapts to your needs. You need Indeed.
Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all.
Find great talent faster through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers can get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US.
One of the things that I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy because Indeed has such great talent. In fact, 3 out of 4 US online job seekers search for jobs on Indeed each month, according to ComScore. And when you sponsor an Indeed post in the US, you're 3 times more likely to get a hire, according to Indeed data. Even better, Indeed's the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements.
Indeed is an unbelievably powerful hiring partner, delivering 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest 2019. The right candidate is doing everything they can do to find you. And if you use Indeed, you can be sure you're doing everything you can to find them too. So join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast.
Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/gaze. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit right now at Indeed.com/gaze, and that's GAZE.
That's Indeed.com/gaze. Terms and conditions apply. Pay per qualified applicant. Not available for all users. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Reunion is a beautiful island filled with rich culture, fantastic food, incredible beaches, and the world's deadliest shark attacks. It all started in 2011 when sharks on Reunion just started biting people, way more than ever before, and with lunatic violence. The Reunion Island shark crisis became one of the most extreme shark attack epidemics in recorded history. How will the locals, the government, and the business owners navigate this complicated situation? This season of Reunion, Shark Attacks in Paradise, will tell the remarkable stories of the people who lived through these attacks and how the island is reacting to the uptake of sharks in the water. So why is this happening? And how has this complicated problem seeped into the culture of the island? Join host, pro surfer, and best-selling author Dan Duane on his trip to Reunion Island as he seeks to get answers. Listen to Reunion, Shark Attacks in Paradise on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, or subscribe to binge all episodes now.
That I'd be back to in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage
Rhea Member.
Now, I love this. I love this queen. I did think on the document it said Rhea Monster. Rhea Member.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whenever I see Rhea spelled like this, it reminds me of Rhea Perlman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who is Rhea Member?
She's the memory keeper's daughter.
Is she a referee?
Sure. She's a scorekeeper.
She's a scorekeeper.
Like me. Yeah.
I mean, you are a scorekeeper.
It's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Madame
feel like
scorekeeper.
I feel like she's a referee, but she's also a research librarian.
Oh.
She's got a lot going on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's a historian.
She's an archivist.
She's an archivist.
There we go. Okay, great. I do kind of want her librarian look to also sort of transform into something else.
Well, I feel like it's like her dowdy librarian look transforms her into a character from history because she's a memory queen.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. So like her act is like, we always start in the library and then we end up somewhere.
The library is open.
Right.
Right. We always end up somewhere in history.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And so her backup dancers and her tell the story of whatever this historical moment is.
It's true.
That this person she's playing experienced, and they do it with music.
Yeah.
I see it
interpretive.
doing like music and like lip syncing to like also dialogue and like, you know, like doing a whole like mashup that tells the whole story. I like it.
Yeah. What is her like main stage song though?
I feel like, so for instance, if she wanted to tell the story of...
If she wanted to tell the story of Amelia Earhart, she'd sing I'm Like a Bird.
Great, exactly. Like she
specific.
would become Amelia Earhart, but I think it would be like, I'm like a bird. And then she could go into theories about what happened. And like, there's like a different song for each thing. It's a whole
It's an immersive experience.
It's an immersive experience with lots of songs.
I feel like the director in you is abuzz with ideas.
I'm so excited about this. Right?
Yeah.
I want her to also go back to being a librarian at the end.
Oh, okay.
Which is like reveal and then reestablish. It's tough. But I feel like what would have to happen is she would have to have an outfit that then transforms into the Amelia Earhart outfit and then is tear away with a duplicate outfit of the librarian underneath.
Hope that stage is
she
air
can
conditioned.
go back to, right?
That's a lot of costuming.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
Great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage
Rhea Member.
So let's talk about our final park for the season, which is hard to believe that we only did 3 parks. But again, the stuff that we've done in each of these parks was epic, and that's Glacier National Park. So let's talk about the trails that we hiked in Glacier National Park.
Great.
Apgar Lookout,
The Lake McDonald Trail,
Johns Lake Loop,
Trail of Cedars,
Avalanche Lake,
the High Line,
the Grinnell Glacier Overlook Trail,
Swift Current Lake Trail,
the Grinnell Glacier Trail,
the Pegan Pass Trail,
the Sexton Glacier, which was sort of like an off-trail experience that we had a guide with us for,
Sayou Pass,
and Scenic Point. What was your favorite?
I think my favorite was the Lake McDonald Trail.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
No, my favorite was, Sayou Pass, easy, was my favorite, especially because of those 3 epic views you get all at once up at the top.
The Pegan Sayou Pass kind of.
Pegan into Sayou Pass, that section.
Yeah.
That was, that really was my favorite.
Yeah, see, it's a toss-up for me.
That
between
and the
Highline. Yeah, that's a really hard, that's like
the
choosing your
Highline
favorite
was
child.
So good.
Also, we had,
I
loved
it.
the nice thing about both of those trails is we had amazing company both times.
Did.
I mean,
we did.
We were blessed with knowing we were hiking with a lovely group of people.
Yeah.
And then we got a surprise experience with somebody who was
On
also a New Jerseyan.
That's right. That's right.
So it's definitely it's a hard toss up for me there. But yes.
Yeah. Okay, least favorite.
It's definitely Lake McDonald.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a question.
It was overgrown and you couldn't really see much.
Yeah. No, I think it was falsely advertised.
All of the other ones were spectacular.
I also forgot Rocky Point because we did do that.
Oh yeah, but that's sort of right in the mix with Lake McDonald Trail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, even Johns Lake Loop, which was
I enjoyed that.
Billed as being horse poop.
I enjoyed it.
Filled. I still enjoyed it. Yeah.
Many people I've talked to who've done that also enjoy it very much.
Also Scenic Point. What a great experience.
Scenic Point was so good because it was so weird.
Yeah.
And so different from anything else that we had done in Glacier.
Yeah.
Like the landscape was so different. Just sort of like the terrain of what it is. It's sort of like, it's long switchbacks along like the side of like a ridge. And then you're like on a saddle and you like walk for like
seemingly miles
or so, like onto another side of a saddle and then out to a point. And I mean, that was wild.
Yeah.
So Scenic Point is like one of my favorites just because it's so different.
Yeah. It was really cool. I was glad that we were able to get to Two Medicine for that.
Me too. I'm really glad we didn't miss Two Medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about signage.
I feel like there were good starting markers.
Yeah,
I just
but
am thinking,
I don't remember there being a ton of like mid-trail signs.
There were. I'm thinking specifically like when we were jutting off on Pegan to like continue on.
Oh, that's true. There was.
There were markers there. I feel like there were the initial trail markers.
I never felt lost in Glacier, ever.
No, I feel like the trails were very easy to follow. I think you could have probably fallen apart a little bit in the Pegan Sayi when you're crossing that big sort of field, but I think there was a pretty much of a beaten path was there for you to be able to follow. It wasn't, but it's more wide open is what I'm saying, as opposed to I feel like a lot of trails are surrounded by trees, so it kind of keeps you in. I never felt truly lost there by any means. I do feel like it was like easy enough to follow everything.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It was the trails were clear minus Lake McDonald. What were your favorite payoff views in this?
Well, I mean, like everything in Glacier is the payoff view, right? I'm going to talk about some lesser known payoff views that I felt were spectacular and shouldn't be missed. Like obviously in the High Line, you are inside of a payoff view the whole time.
It's true.
When you do that Grinnell Glacier Trail, that one spot before Grinnell, like when you can see Grinnell and the peak and the lake, that is a spectacular view. Yeah. Hyper specific. That's an image that people take and share all the time on socials.
Yeah, the overlook, despite the horror of that 0.8 miles.
But I also want to mention like Avalanche Lake, an amazing payoff view when you get up to that lake and all those waterfalls that are happening.
Yeah.
That was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
Another thing, which like I am so impressed with myself that I even survived this darn thing, but like getting up to the top of that Grinnell overlook, that spot was spectacular.
Yeah.
And I know you got an even a different spectacular view from going all the way up.
Oh yeah, it was.
And so that was another payoff view that I just was like, this was outrageous.
Yeah.
And so beautiful.
Scenic Point too, I feel like was another sort of like gave me Sayi Pass, Pecan Pass kind of vibes because it was so sweeping up there and you got like almost like you got a 360 degree view at that point.
Yeah.
There isn't a park in my memory that I can kind of say, yeah, I think every trail actually gave you something that was like a terminal payoff at some point.
I felt like we had that. Except the Lake McDonald Trail.
Right. Yeah. But I do feel like that's a park where everything is sort of larger than life and incredible. Even just being at Logan Pass, even just pulling off of going to the Sun Road at one of the pull-offs.
All of it.
All of it is payoff.
Everything.
Like, everything is payoff there. What would you do if you went back?
Okay, I have schemed already and told you a little bit about this. But what I want to do is start at Logan Pass, hike the High Line to the chalet in one direction. Then rather than go down the loop trail, head over to the right and go all the way to the Mini Glacier Lodge. There's a trail, I think it's the Swift Current Lake Trail. I think part of it is there. I might be wrong, but whatever. That connects there. It's a lot of miles there, right? Either, I mean, doing this in one day, I think we could do it, but we could also just spend the night at the Mini Glacier Lodge, then get up the next day, leave the Glacier Lodge, go see Grinnell, and then take the connecting trail that connects to Pegan Pass. Then do the ending of what we did with Becky and Cynthia, which is go up to the Sayi Pass and then come down and end at going to the Sun Road.
And go through Sunrift Gorge.
And go through Sunrift Gorge.
Yeah.
So that's what I would want to do.
Yeah.
Like one big epic kind of point-to-point loop.
Yeah. I think some hikes that we didn't get a chance to do that I would have liked to have done was Iceberg Lake and also Cracker Lake were two that were kind of recommended that we just didn't have the time / there were bears. And also I think going down, even though it's like a drop of like 700 feet of elevation.
Yeah.
Down to Hidden Lake would have been really lovely. Don't feel any FOMO about it by any means.
And there was that spot to get the those berries, the huckleberries.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what they were?
Yeah, huckleberries was like real big out there.
Up
In Pembroke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get to go to that area.
No, we didn't.
That would have been fun.
So not Pembroke, Polebridge. Sorry.
Polebridge.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Not Pembroke. Goody outwife. Come with me to Pembroke.
Right. Polebridge. Yes.
Polebridge.
That area, I would have been nice to go
to.
But
yeah.
Also, we did so much.
Yes.
So, yeah, I have no FOMO at all.
Also, I think the Flathead, we didn't get a chance to really go around
the
Flathead section, which is not necessarily in the park, but it's there.
Yeah.
You can kind of there's plenty to do around there too.
That's right.
So, yeah, but I do feel like we did a lot of Glacier. Not all of it,
a
lot of it. It's a park I would 100% go back to. I'd go back to any of these 3 parks for sure. I'd race back to Tetons and Glacier.
Absolutely.
And I'd saunter back to Yellowstone.
And let's end this summit with a game.
All right, so this is our final summit for season 4, which is kind of crazy. It's wild that, 3 parks is something that we have never done before. And we are excited for season 5, which is even crazier, which will be coming in the fall of 2022. So stay tuned for that.
That's right.
But because our summits are recaps of our season, essentially, the first trivia that I've written, the category is called recap. So it's re:*cap. So what I'll be doing is I will be reading an email
from your colon.
That will be, the subject line will be regarding captain. So recap. So you're going to have to tell me the fictional captain. So it'll be an email about that captain.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Dear Miss Swan, you best start believing in ghost stories, 'cause you're in one. Do you think that's too hokey for the Halloween Evite tagline? I hope not, because I'm all set for this soiree. Plenty of rum and pirate's booty to go around. Thank God we stranded what's-his-name on the deserted island. He thinks the Black Pearl is his, but he isn't getting my ride anytime soon. Spookily yours, Barbosa.
Who is Captain Jack Sparrow?
That's correct.
Okay, great.
So you see.
I got it.
Okay. Mr. Stark. Dear Mr. Stark. I can't believe I got to fight along with the whole team at that German airport. That giant guy was totally insane. And another insect name. Sort of like me, I guess. Although it seems like a little bit of an oxymoron. You really didn't prep me for who I was up against, let alone the Boy Scout himself. Didn't expect his shield to hurt so much when it hit me. Anyway, thanks for the new suit. Later, Peter.
Who is Captain Morgan?
No,
I know. Who is Captain America?
That's correct.
Okay, great.
Stardate 4153.7. It seems as though Dr. McCoy has been able to address most of the mysterious illness that has befallen the crew after our last mission. While Lieutenant Uhura and Mr. Chekhov have made a full recovery, Mr. Sulu and Jim have seemingly lingered in an induced coma until the doctor can figure out the cause of their aberration in the course of their diagnosis. I will remain at the helm of the Enterprise until Jim has made a full recovery. Yours truly, Mr. Spock.
Who is Captain Kirk?
That's correct. Great.
These are well written. Well done.
Thank you. I had fun with this one. All right. Dear Count, despite Lucky's insistence, there isn't a pot of gold anymore, and the triplets have been no help looking either. Keep hearing things no one else can. I got my own problems too, man. It's like I can't get my fix. People keeping away what I want from me. I might need to commiserate with the Cap. He seems to know how to play keep away, so maybe he can give me some pointers on getting my fix. Itchily yours, Trix.
I have no idea.
Who is Captain Crunch?
The triplets, like the Lucky Charms triplets?
No, who are the triplets? Keep hearing things other people can't hear.
The triplets?
Snap,
Crackle and Pop. Oh, that's what I meant. Mm-hmm. Okay. Rice Krispies.
The Rice Krispies triplets.
Yeah. Not Lucky Charms.
Mm-hmm.
There was just one leprechaun.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
And the last one for this category. Kwame, I can't use my matchmaking skills to get you closer to Linka, despite your offer. Plus, if the others found out, it could create disharmony in the team, and you know how I feel about that. The power of heart isn't always the strongest, but Gaia and the big blue guy entrusted it to me. I can't betray them for a hookup. Much love, Mati.
Is this a Watchmen reference?
No.
I don't know then.
Who is Captain Planet?
Oh, Captain
The
Planet.
power of heart. Kwame Linka.
He's our hero.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a good one.
Great.
Well done.
Thank you. And the last category is trail mix ingredients. And
okay.
In this category, I'm going to be giving you a clue, and you need to just name the ingredient that is a part of trail mix that I'm talking about.
I'm ready.
Because this is our snack for the trails, so here we go.
We love it. We make
Great.
our own sometimes.
It's true.
It's been a while. We need to do that again.
Yeah.
Blister peanuts.
Yeah. There's banana chips.
All about that. And
All
there's
right.
sesame sticks.
That's right. For 100. It takes about 540 of these small legumes, an ingredient in trail mix, to create a jar of smooth or chunky.
What is peanuts?
That's correct. For 200. This trail mix ingredient comes from the Latin word racemus, which means a cluster of grapes or berries.
What is granola?
Mm-mm.
A cluster of grapes or berries?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
What's raisins?
Oh, raisins.
Yeah.
Okay.
For 300, this industrial garden state city has the original factory for the sweet, colorful, bite-sized chocolate candy, which often appears in trail mix. Can you name the city and the candy?
Is it M&M's?
Mm-hmm.
And is it Detroit?
No, garden state, industrial garden state
What
city.
is Trenton? What is Newark?
That's correct.
Okay, there we go.
M&M's
Well, I
in
mean,
Newark.
Trenton makes, the world takes. So.
They're M&M's. All right, for 400, this nut, an ingredient in some trail mix, is called brain food because of the omega-3 fatty acids and polyphenols contained within, but could also be considered brain food because of its brain-like shape.
What is walnut?
That's correct. And for 500, this small dandruff-like flake that might appear in your trail mix is an excellent source of fiber, potassium, and iron.
What is coconut?
That's correct.
Oh,
look at you.
that. I want trail mix now.
Yeah, me too.
Very much so.
To Trader Joe's.
Who's not an official sponsor, but could be. This has been our Season 4 Summit by Gaze at the National Parks, the podcast. And I guess we could also say that this has been
Season 4.
We're here still to remind you to hike early and hike often, and that adventure is always out there.
Gaze at the National Parks was created and is hosted by us,
Dustin Ballard.
and sassy Michael Ryan.
To see images from this episode, follow our Instagram at Gaze at the National Parks. To contact us, email us at gazeatthenationalparks@gmail.com. And to find out more about the parks visited on the show, visit our website, gazeatthenationalparks.com. That's Gaze, G-A-Z-E.
All original artwork featured on Instagram, on our website, and in our Gaze shop is by me, Michael Ryan.
All original music was written by Dave Seaman and performed by Dave Seaman, Mariella Klinger, and Sean Sklios. Our music producer is Skyler Fortgang. This episode was edited by me, Dustin Ballard.
We would also like to acknowledge while recording this episode that we were on the traditional and stolen lands of the Lenape people, also known as Middlesex County, New Jersey.
And finally, we'd just like to say thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for listening and for tuning in weekly.
It was a joy to go on this Season 4 journey with you.
It was. And like we said earlier, stay tuned for the fall of 2022 when we will embark on our Season 5 journey.
Season 5.